So here's something rather amusing. The corporate media is once again smearing people for standing up to government overreach, for standing up to corruption. In this case, over in London, we currently have the Unite the Kingdom protest, which we'll be talking extensively about in this video. But as you can see here, the corporate media is trying to define this protest as the far right. Far-right people are gathering together, hundreds of thousands of far-right people in London. Now, the fact of the matter is, most of the people attending this rally are actually either apolitical, and they're just sick of what Kier Starmer has been doing, and those corrupt politicians around him as well, and just your normal, average, everyday conservative. But of course, standing up to Kier Starmer, standing up to government corruption, well, that's just something the far right would do, according to the corporate press and those who would shill for them. Also, these corpos are trying to say it's like 100,000 people. Yeah, no, try at least 1 million people. So let's check out some of this protest, shall we? Here's some ground coverage from GB News.
The numbers are huge here now, and in fact, there's still thousands more actually coming down the steps in Waterloo behind us. There is thousands and thousands of every flag from across the British Isles, and I do say the British Isles because there's lots of tricolours flying there as well.
We're going to return to GB News and that gentleman there doing the reporting, but I figured I'd give you guys another different angle here of the protest. You can clearly see this crowd is huge. This protest is immense. Oh, there's the aerial view. Yeah. It's been reported that there are some saying 1 million people, some even saying upwards of 2 million people. But according to the corporate press, by the way, they're trying to say there's only like 100,000 people here, which is such a freaking understatement. And that's not the only spin they're trying to do on this. They've also tried to say that this protest is actually the counter-protest, which it's not. The counter-protest was actually just like a few thousand people at tops. And I'll show you that too. You'll see the evidence of that. Anyways, back to the ground coverage. Oh, and first, I do apologize. The helicopter in the background gets a bit louder here, but this clip is only like 1 minute long, so please do bear with me. And then we'll have more coverage without the helicopter noise right afterwards.
Why are you here?
We're just think enough is enough with the UK. We're fed up of illegal immigration. We're not racist. We're not against immigration. We're not against people living in this country and working. We're just fed up of everything that Starmer's doing.
Oh, Kier Starmer, what will it take to put things right with Kier Starmer? I don't know what.
I like how my reaction was the same as this dude. Like, we just start laughing. Probably a lot of you viewers, too, start laughing instantly at that one. That was great.
I don't want to answer that, but we just need to get our identity back. Me, as a proud Englishman, proud of my country, and now I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed. You feel ashamed to fly your flag. You're not proud to be British anymore. We're losing our identity as a nation. We're appeasing everyone else, but not looking after the people that live here.
It's crazy how simply saying that you care about your country and you're unhappy with Starmer's policies on immigration and how Starmer's treating his own people and that you care about the people of your country, how saying stuff like that will get you labeled like a violent far-right extremist or a Nazi, whatever, fascist, whatever buzzword they feel like using at that point in time. Meanwhile, the people saying those sort of things are propagating actual violent rhetoric, like this weirdo who got elected as Oxford Union president a few months back.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And side prop will argue that at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. The view that some institutions are too broken, too regressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary.
Any means necessary, huh? And just the other day, this same Union president-elect will be disciplined for mocking Charlie Kirk's passing just months after they debated face to face. He had made a number of disparaging remarks towards Charlie Kirk, celebrating what happened to him, including this one right here, where he laughs. Now, returning back to Unite the Kingdom, we've got the BBC, legacy media, and liberal left want you to believe this man protesting in London today is a far-right Nazi. They actually call him that daily. This is why they're so disingenuously insane. Well, let's take a look at this clip now, shall we? 16 seconds on this one.
I have to come and support the event, uniting the whole country, bringing everybody together, bringing the 4 nations together. That's why I dress up and then come and support. I'll be integrated, so I have to respect the culture, the people, and then good governance.
Look at that outfit, man. Somewhere out there, there's BBC journalists seething, and others probably trying to say that he can't actually be black and saying these things. I'm also referencing yesterday's video where a gay black man had expressed sadness for what happened to Charlie Kirk, despite the fact that he was also a leftist. This gay black man was a leftist, and then other leftists were saying that he can't actually be sad for what happened to Charlie Kirk and be gay and black. They literally pushed that guy out of the party. And he made a video talking about it. The BBC, legacy media, politicians, and the liberal left keep on trying to tell you that these three people in London yesterday are far-right Nazis. That's how disconnected from reality they truly are. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're disconnected from reality so much as they are just overtly lying and trying to manipulate people. I think they know very well what they're doing, and it's disgusting, and they don't care.
Real, live, and raw. Why are you here today?
I'm here in support of our country, our British patriots, and also in solidarity with our American friends and free speech, especially following the death of Charlie Kirk. It's so important to be here today and just to be with fellow patriots and just to have a voice and show this government that we can still have our free speech. It's so important. We don't want to lose our free speech.
That's amazing. Someone said in my comment section that this whole gathering is a gathering of far-right racist scum, and they said,
oh my gosh,
why would I want to attend something like that? So what do you think about them calling this whole group far-right racists?
Absolutely not. I think if you're from our country and you love our country, there's nothing far right about it. There's nothing wrong we shouldn't be called a Nazi just because you want to raise your country's flag. There's no other country in the world where you could be called a Nazi or far right just for raising your country's flag.
I don't know about that. I think, some people here in America would do the same thing, really.
A lot of people have had really good opportunities in this country. My grandfather came from South Africa. He didn't get everything for free. He worked very hard. Our ancestors worked very hard and integrated, so they did all the hard.
Now, that said about weirdos in America also getting offended at people flying the American flag, I do think it's worse in Britain right now for people flying the Union Jack and St. George's Cross, and the amount of freaks out there, including people in high positions politically and high corporate press positions, smearing the people flying the Union Jack and St. George's Cross as like Nazis and far right and all that. It's definitely worse for them from what I've seen right now. So, big shouts out to our friends overseas in Great Britain, in the UK. And now we have this complete loser, Diane Abbott, who's trying to, as usual, smear the protesters as racist, as far right, blah, 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 all that boring rhetoric that is tried and failed by these individuals over and over again. And this is especially amusing, though, because Diane Abbott actually, on more than one occasion, had been suspended while she was a part of Labour over her own racist comments. Yes, she seems to be, from what I've seen, in my opinion, just a racist individual who constantly tries to race bait people.
It's very important to stand up to fascism.
Yeah, because apparently fascism is standing up to Kier Starmer's corrupt government and what they're doing.
We need to be in solidarity with asylum seekers, and we need to show that we are united.
So, as usual, here's more gaslighting where they try and label all of the illegal migrants as asylum seekers. And as I said before, while a small fraction of them are legitimate asylum seekers, the great majority of them are not. They're lying about that or not even trying to claim it, but a lot of them are trying to claim it despite the fact that it's a lie. And many of them are actually illegal migrants.
And you said this is about women's safety and girls. Obviously, the other side say this is about that issue for them too. What's your response?
They're talking nonsense. That's my response. They're talking nonsense.
So it's nonsense to care about the safety of young girls and women who factually, verifiably have been getting preyed upon far too many times by a number of these illegal migrants.
It's a dangerous lie to try and say that men of colour are a threat to women. It's a very dangerous lie.
So here's more of her race baiting, because as I said, I'm sounding like a broken record a little bit now. When people are talking about the horrific things that are being done, they're criticizing these people for being illegal migrants and for doing these terrible, horrific things to women and young girls. They're not making it about race. They're not bringing up like the color and all that, but she is the one hyper focusing on that as she tries to manipulate the conversation and steer it away from factually the terrible things that have been happening.
And I think we need to squash it.
Obviously, we've seen the protests around the hotels, housing asylum seekers, and the government's response. Do you have a message for the government on how they should be responding to these protests?
My message to the government is they want to keep people safe, and we need to.
Well, obviously you don't care about keeping people safe when you don't care about what's happening to these women, these young girls. You're like literally trying to gaslight, manipulate people about this topic. Like, what a ridiculous thing for her to say.
To be clear that these demonstrations around hotels are racist demonstrations.
So you know what? I think I get it. She does want to keep people safe. She specifically wants to protect these sick freaks, these predators who've been doing horrific things to women and young girls. And she's fine with them getting preyed on, those innocent people. And she just wants to protect the freaks that are getting away with this stuff. At least that's how I'm taking what she said. That's my interpretation of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. It should also be noted that Diane Abbott has strong ties to this group, Stand Up to Racism. You might remember this picture from some of my prior coverage, where earlier, I'll say earlier in the month, I think this was actually late last month, there were more protesters. The protesters, of course, being the people going up against Kier Starmer and what he's been doing and these immigration policies, et cetera, and protesting what these migrants, some of these illegal migrants have been doing, the horrific things that we just went over. Sorry to be so repetitive, but it bears repeating, especially for people that are not familiar with this. The point I'm getting at is this group, Stand Up to Racism, has been trying to smear the protesters and counter-protest against them, et cetera, and Diane Abbott has strong ties with that group. And in the clip that we just watched of Diane Abbott, I think she was at the Unite the Kingdom rally, Unite the Kingdom protest, and she was with a group of counter-protesters from Stand Up to Racism, I presume. We can see more of these Stand Up to Racism counter-protesters right here. I don't know. How many people do you think this is? Maybe like, I'm going to be really generous and say 200, even though I think this is probably closer to like 100. The people like in this circle area here. It's clearly a minuscule amount compared to the Unite the Kingdom protests, which, as mentioned, some reports are saying 1 million, 2 million. I've even seen some saying 3 million, though that one might be excessive. It is a bit hard to say, but certainly within the low millions. Now, to be fair, there were more Stand Up to Racism and counter-protesters than just in that circle. However, even their own people are admitting that, at best, Stand Up to Racism probably had around, like, 15,000 people tops. And that's them trying to stretch the number as much as they possibly can, which even some of the mainstream like corporate media has been trying. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, actually. They've been trying to like inflate the numbers of the counter protesters, which has been failing because, you know, people actually have eyes and they can clearly see that they're being lied to by the corporate media. But the point I'm getting at is here we can see this tweet saying, new Stand Up to Racism activists have admitted defeat, describing their counter-protest as humiliating and claiming that Tommy Robinson had over 1 million attendees at yesterday's Uniting the Kingdom rally. And so here's the part where they talk about the numbers really quick.
If we look at the numbers alone, Tommy Robinson's side seems to have gotten around 1 million. And on our side, lucky if it was 15,000. More likely 10,000.
You know, I'll at least give them credit for being more honest than so many people a part of that organization have been. So at least I can say that about these two individuals. I can't say the same thing about the Metropolitan Police, however, as they actually got caught here lying and using old footage to try and smear the Unite the Kingdom protesters. Hey, Metro Police UK, why are you sharing 2020 footage and passing it off as yesterday to make it look like hostile aggression toward the police from 1 million plus people that were actually peacefully protesting? And they had said, the police had said, a crowd of Unite the Kingdom protesters attempted to enter the sterile area of Whitehall that is placed to keep the two protests apart. Officers were attacked with projectiles and had to use force to avoid their cordon being breached. And while the Metropolitan Police did lock the responses, so no one could say anything directly, as you can see here, they can't stop people from quote tweeting, in which we've got a number of people calling them out. For example, this one as well, saying, why is the Met Police using footage taken in 2020 and passing it off as footage from yesterday? Did they think we wouldn't notice? Shocking from an organization that has clearly been overtaken and politicized. By the way, here's something that's just hilarious. So, Tommy Robinson hired a helicopter to capture aerial footage of the London rally, in which some of the footage we already took a look at way earlier in the video. Here's the funny part. anticipating that the mainstream media would misreport the attendance figures, which he was spot on about because they certainly have been trying to massively downplay this rally, this protest. To which Tommy Robinson had directly also called out The Guardian right here via his Twitter account, saying The Guardian reported 110,000 at our London rally today, yet literally had their own helicopter showing the millions of patriots. Clown emoji. Legacy media proving again they'll just lie to your face for their own agenda. This is why nobody trusts them. We are the media now. Here's something funny, check this out. Adam Schwartz, writer and political commentator, monitoring threats to democracy from authoritarianism and tech oligarchy, followed by stand up to racism, And he is here crying about the Unite the Kingdom rally, going on to say, yesterday's far-right march should serve as a wake-up call for Starmer's government. The radicalization of the public cannot be halted by government echoing far-right narratives. The government must insulate our democracy from the malign foreign interference of Elon Musk. Yeah, so this whack job is so upset at this peaceful protest that he's trying to get Starmer's government to crack down on the citizens and trying to say that it's because of Elon Musk that this happened and the far right and all that. Like, bro is reaching so hard. This is such a desperate and pathetic look. He's getting called out all in the responses. For example, listen to the language you use. Far right, radicalization of the public. Do you ever think maybe people like you are the problem? Or do you just like to feel superior and sneer other people? And these people are not far right. They're normal people who have had enough of people like you. In a different tweet from Adam Schwartz, he also tried to downplay the Unite the Kingdom rally, saying 100,000 plus attendees. Now, he did put the plus there, but saying 1 million plus would be more accurate. And of course, going on to try and say this is just a gigantic far-right protest. And again, saying it was led by Elon Musk in part as well. Yeah, so what actually happened is that Elon Musk in a video call spoke at the rally for 15 minutes or so. Saying he was leading the rally is such a ridiculous claim. Just nonsensical stretch right there. Nonsensical reach. And of course, you've also got The Guardian right below that. Once again, similarly, I should say, and once again, actually, calling the rally a far-right rally or whatever. Similarly, Sky News was seen here trying to also say that there was only 150,000 people attending the Unite the Kingdom rally. We'll close with this. As more and more of these corrupt politicians and corpos try to lie about this rally, they'll fail over and over again because, as I said before, people have eyes. They can see what actually happened here and how these people in positions of power in the press and in Starmer's government just keep trying to lie about this. Similar to how certain people here in the States are lying about something that recently happened. But yeah, that's all I got to say in this one, guys. And my apologies if I'm a bit tired throughout this video. I mentioned that those 2 days off I took, I trained extra hard and yeah, it's all kind of catching up to me today. So my energy is really low, but I do hope that this coverage was still pretty good. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate it and it helps out greatly. I'll see you in the comments here. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great week ahead. And I'll see you in the next one.